North Africa is bounded by the Atlantic Ocean on the west, the Mediterranean Sea on the north, and the Red Sea on the east. To the south, the region is cut off from the rest of the continent by the world's largest desert, the Sahara. North Africa consists of Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. While Egypt is often considered part of the Middle East, most of its landmass is located in North Africa. Egypt's most important physical feature is the Nile River. It is the longest river in the world, beginning south of the equator and flowing north through the entire length of Egypt before emptying into the Mediterranean Sea. Cairo is the capital of Egypt. It is a noisy, bustling city of 16 million people. Arabic is the official language, but many Egyptians also speak English and French. The Nile River Valley was the seat of one of the earliest civilizations. The pyramids at Giza, just south of Cairo, are architectural marvels. Pharaohs, the kings of ancient Egypt, began building the stone structures around 2500 BC. The largest pyramid is made of 2.3 million blocks of limestone, some weighing as much as 9 tons. The pyramids were built to house the tombs of the pharaohs. Archaeologists now know that they were part of a massive burial site that included space for wives, relatives, and other nobles, as well as temples where the dead kings could be worshipped. The Sphinx, the massive limestone sculpture with the body of a lion and the head of a man, is believed to be the guardian spirit for the burial complex of the pharaoh Khafra. The ancient Egyptian civilization flourished for more than 3,000 years, longer than most other civilizations in the world's history. Today, Egypt is among the most influential of Arab states in North Africa and the world. Chad is located in north-central Africa, and Sudan is located in northeastern Africa. Sudan borders Libya in the northwest, Egypt to the north, the Red Sea to the northeast, Eritrea and Ethiopia to the east, Kenya, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo to the south, and the Central African Republic and Chad to the west. Chad borders Libya to the north, Sudan to the east, the Central African Republic to the south, and Cameroon, Nigeria, and Niger to the west. The capital of Chad is N'Djamena, and the capital of Sudan is Khartoum. Sudan is the largest country in Africa, covering more than 8% of the continent. Approximately 5,000 years ago, a civilization known as Nubia developed along the banks of the Nile, from modern-day Aswan, Egypt, to Khartoum. Also known as the Kingdom of Kush, this empire rivaled ancient Egypt in power and wealth. Both civilizations took turns occupying the other, and they grew to be partners in trade and enemies in war. Nubians were skilled warriors, known for their archery skills. Their rulers were powerful kings and strong queens. Members of royal families were buried in small, steep-sided pyramids. Inscriptions in chapels in front of the pyramids gave details about the life of the person buried inside. Around 600 BC, the Nubians moved their capital to the city of Meroe to escape an Egyptian invasion. Archaeologists are learning more about this Meroitic period by studying an area near the modern city of Dangail, which means red brick rubble. They have discovered a huge, well-preserved temple dedicated to the ram-headed god Amun. The Meroitic language is one of the last undeciphered languages in the world. Although scholars know how to pronounce individual signs, they do not fully understand the texts. Sudan's ancient Nubian civilization poses many mysteries for the rest of the world to solve.
Libya is located on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa. It is bordered by Tunisia and Algeria to the west, Niger and Chad to the south, and Sudan and Egypt to the east. The arid plains of the Sahara dominate the geography of Libya in the south. Arabic is the official language, and the majority of the people are Sunni Muslims. The capital, Tripoli, is located on the coast in the northwestern region of the country. The city is home to official buildings, theaters, and hotels, as well as the former royal palace. Libya enjoys the highest level of economic productivity in Africa, thanks to oil production. But the economy suffered through most of the 1990s because the United Nations imposed sanctions. The world body imposed the restrictions after Libya refused to hand over 2 men suspected of planting a bomb on a United States airliner that exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland, and killed 270 people. In 1999, Libya agreed to let the 2 men stand trial in the Netherlands, and the sanctions were lifted. The U.S. continues to impose its own economic sanctions, in part because it claims Libya sponsors terrorism. Recently, the Libyan government announced it would abandon its programs to build weapons of mass destruction. By dismantling its weapons program, Libya hopes the international community will end all trade sanctions so it can begin to recover economically.
Mauritania is located in northwestern Africa. It is bordered to the west by the Atlantic Ocean and Western Sahara, to the northeast by Algeria, to the west and south by Mali, and to the south by Senegal. The capital, Nouakchott, is located in the southwestern region along the Atlantic coast. 60% of Mauritania is covered by the Sahara, the largest desert in the world, and it's still growing. As the desert spreads south and west, it increases its occupation of Mauritania. The human population is small for a country this size, but there's plenty of room for fascinating desert creatures like the carpet viper snake and the spiny-tailed lizard that live in sandy dunes. And though it's hard to believe, Mauritania is also home to crocodiles. They rarely venture far from water, but these animals have made a home for themselves in the wetlands along the edge of the Sahara. Scientists believe they're the descendants of crocodiles that were common in the area thousands of years ago, when the Sahara was fertile grassland. Over time, the croc's behavior and genetic makeup have adapted to their surroundings. Today, they are much smaller and less aggressive than their relative, the Nile crocodile. During the dry season and periods of drought, the crocodiles live in burrows and caves, limiting their movements to retain moisture. The Mauritanian people have protected their crocodiles from the world's view for thousands of years. They hold the belief that the crocodiles are linked to the country's limited water supply. And if the crocodiles disappear, so would all the water in the region.
Morocco is located in northwestern Africa. across the Strait of Gibraltar from Spain. It is the only African country with coast on both the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. To the east lies Algeria, and to the south, Western Sahara, a former Spanish colony that Morocco is trying to take over. The Atlas Mountains form a backbone that extends from the southwest to the northeast. In the southeast lies the Sahara Desert, while plains and plateaus dominate the area west of the mountains. The capital, Rabat, is located on the northwest Atlantic coast, at the mouth of the Bou Regreg River. In Morocco, you can easily find sand, sea, and snow. The coastal areas enjoy Mediterranean-style weather, with mild, wet winters and warm, dry summers. Ocean breezes help moderate the temperature, but winds from the Sahara may push the thermometer above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, even on the coast. The majority of Morocco's population is concentrated in the coastal region and in the foothills of the Atlas Mountains, where rainfall is most plentiful. Almost all Moroccans are Muslim and speak Arabic, the official language. But Morocco is actually the product of many peoples: Berber, African, Arab, Islamic, Jewish, and European. The Berbers were the earliest inhabitants of the country, and they make up approximately 60% of the modern population. Today, they usually live in rural areas where they farm or raise animals. Some are nomads. The Berbers guard their independence fiercely, maintaining their own languages and local customs. The ancient city of Marrakesh is one of Morocco's most important cultural centers. It is well known for its markets and festivals. The place Jemaa el-Fnaa, a huge square in Marrakesh's old city district, is home to rows of open-air food stalls. Jugglers, contortionists, and even snake charmers entertain visitors. From the ocean to the desert, Morocco is a vibrant country with a unique place among the peoples and cultures of Africa.
Algeria is a large North African country just south of the Mediterranean Sea. It is more than 3 times the size of Texas and shares its borders with 6 other countries: Morocco, Mali, Mauritania, Niger, Libya, and Tunisia. Almost all of Algeria is in the Sahara, one of the most harsh and unforgiving deserts in the world. But plants still grow even in this barren place. Fertile areas are scattered throughout the Sahara. These are called oases. Ouled Said is not a naturally occurring oasis, but that doesn't matter to the people who live here. Thanks to the water found underground, farmers can grow food for themselves, graze livestock, and produce dates, small, sweet-tasting fruits. It may seem hard to believe, but these desert harvests are so bountiful that Algeria has become one of the largest producers of the fruit. But these harvests can't happen without a supply of precious water. The ancient secret for moving water from one place to another is called a fougara. Fogaras are holes that bring water from underground reservoirs to the surface. Fogaras like these have been used for centuries in many places around the world. Building fogaras takes time and skill. First, someone must find an underground water source. Then a long plate, called a kazria, is pushed through the ground until it hits an underground reservoir. The water bubbles to the surface and runs into gardens through channels. The water passes from one hole to another, and small storage wells keep the water fresh and cool. Fogaras are simple tools, but it takes a lot of skill to use them, and they have helped to turn Algeria into a place where life can flourish.
Egypt is an African country bordered by the Mediterranean Sea. This giant country is more than 3 times the size of New Mexico and shares its borders with Libya to the west, Sudan to the south, Saudi Arabia and the Red Sea to the east, and Israel to the northeast. The history of Egypt goes back to the year 3200 BC, when the Egyptian king Menes started the first royal dynasty. While pharaohs, wars, and great conquerors have all come and gone, one thing remains, the very heart of this ancient civilization, the Nile River. The Nile is the longest river in the world. It stretches 6,694 kilometers from Central Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. The Nile River cuts through the barren Egyptian desert, creating a fertile strip of land where farmers can grow crops of corn, wheat, beans, fruits, and vegetables. The Nile River is the reason for Egypt's agricultural success and wealth. The Nile overflows yearly, and when it does, it brings rich minerals called silt to the riverbanks. The silt makes the land fertile. Silt is very important to people living in Egypt, but the ancient planting and harvesting techniques used by the fellahin, or farmers, have had as much to do with the land's fertility as the river itself. When the Nile overflows, the fellahin work together to use the precious water to irrigate the land. The nutrients in the silt fertilize the crops. Today, farmers make up about 29% of Egypt's workforce. Many farms in Egypt are small, and the fellahin plant and harvest crops as they have for thousands of years. Egypt's fellahin produce rice, wheat, and beans, as well as cotton, dates, and citrus fruits. But population growth, water pollution, and the loss of silt caused by massive dams are changing the way the fellahin have always lived and worked. For now, Egypt's fellahin continue to live in harmony with the Nile River, producing crops for domestic use and export. But as the desert nation's population and ecology continue to change, the fellahin's way of life may someday disappear.